All right. Hello, Facebook. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for letting me know. It always is helpful to know if your mic is turned on and those sort of things. So thank you. And we got one more minute. So I will give the stragglers a second to catch up or jump in. But I know your time is really, really important. So I'm going to keep this really tight to the schedule, give you as much information as possible, plus leave some room for Q&A at the end. And you can ask me anything about what I'm sharing with you or any other questions you have. This is just a give because I created a software. I know a bunch of different strategies on how people have used it to get profitable. And it doesn't do me any good to just have those strategies in my head and not share them with you. So that's why I am jumping in. So Michelle, Sandra, who else? Jen, where are you guys all coming in from? If you want to type it in the chat. And we'll let some people on Facebook land jump in. Just say hello, where you're joining us from, what you're doing, anything. So, and if you, there's a few people on Facebook. Let me get the comments open. So, all right. So, what I am going to cover today is how you can start profiting from. Can you guys hear me? Technical issues. All right. Hi, Kelly. So, all right. Well, I'm going to carry on. And if you're in Facebook land, let me just drop the Zoom link real quick in Facebook land so you guys can join us. Hold on. Got it. All right. So many little pop-ups. Good. Thank you, Jen. Or Jean. Jean said she left Facebook. All right. And I can't find the Zoom link here. So I'm going to carry on because we don't have a lot of time. And there's a lot to cover. Hi, Frederick. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Really good to have you here. Okay. So this is about how you can profit from a book. Some people already have a book written and they're like, I don't have the audiobook done. This will work for you. Some people are in the process of writing their book. Maybe you got like the first chapter done. This will work for you. Some of you guys are thinking about writing a book. This will work for you as well. So this is so ingenious. I absolutely love it. I wish I would have thought about this back when I was trying to do a book. It does a couple of things. It forces you to get your book out, but it also helps you create a better book because you're going to get feedback as you're creating your book. A few years ago, there was a gentleman who wrote a book and he invited his audience to comment on the book, to review it before he published it, which was rather interesting. This is a little bit like that, but even easier because he had his whole book done and then he sent it out to a peer group, had us review it, and we sent back our edits and then he published it. This is even better. So how many of you, let me know in the chat, have a book right now or are working on a book? How many of you guys? Okay, I have 8. That's right. And don't let Kelly's little thing, her 8, intimidate you from saying, like, I've got 2 pages. Okay, Sandra's got a book. 4 of them, Steve. All right. Oh, she's a book coach. All right. So that's it. Michelle started working on a book. Okay, good. So you guys kind of got a book already going. Now, what most people normally do is they get their book done, they get it formatted, they submit it to Amazon, and then they hope and pray that people like it, it gets good reviews. This formula is a little different, and it's kind of based on the funnel I shared last week. So I'm going to pull that up and share my screen real quick. So let me go into Facebook, and I'm going to share that. Okay. And then on Zoom, I'm going to share my screen. I'm getting better at this. Okay. Not eCam Live. This one. Here we go. Okay. So this is my dollar book funnel. How many of you guys remember this from last week? I shared this last week. Yeah. So the idea behind this $5 book funnel is that I sell them an audiobook for $5 with a whole bunch of bonuses. So basically, it's over delivery, a whole bunch of good stuff for super cheap because it's in that micro purchase mindset. So they just kind of click, they don't think about it much. It helps with today's economy where people aren't spending as much, all of these things. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole funnel because it goes on for miles and you guys can read it, you can model it, mimic everything in there. But what I want to share is if you're going to do something like this, or even use the hero sales page, you can do it. You can set it up so your book isn't even finished and start selling. So it's a little bit like you get early access to my book right now, and each week I'm going to give you a new chapter. Okay, so each week they get, and it doesn't have to be a completed chapter, it can be ideas, thoughts. So basically, what you're committing to is each week you're going to give them a new chapter. Now, my friend who did this, he just created a Google document and he gives them access to that Google document. And each week, he just adds some new stuff to the Google document. Then he messages his list and says it's there. Now with Hero, you could do it a lot easier because you could just record something and then you translate that recording in, or transcribe it, not translate it, transcribe it into text. But you start out with audio. So you just record something, record your chapter and upload it to Hero. When you set it live, everybody who has access to that work in progress audiobook will get a message. They'll get a notification that there was a new episode added. So one, you don't have to email your list. Like every time he updates his Google document, he has to go out and notify his list. If you create an audio, you can, one, get it done faster. And then two, Hero automatically notifies the list for you. So the idea is to create a sales page. And I'm just going to go over here to, not that one, over here. My computer's a little slow. And this is the sales page for this book. You can use this sales page as your sales page. You don't need that big long funnel. You can use the Hero sales page. And if you want to go one step further, you can create a big long sales page like this, but you don't have to. You can use this one. And in here, put free bonuses. You get access to a workbook. You get access to, I don't know, a mini course. I'm going to share something about the mini course. Hold on, I'm making a note. So you create some bonuses that go with it now, and you can have it partially done. The only thing you need to have done is this very first episode which is the welcome episode, explaining to them what this is about. This is a book like you've never experienced before because we're going to write it together. I'm going to write it with you every week. You're going to get a new episode, and I'm going to share this with you. And I'm going to give it to you very cheap. All I ask for in exchange is that you give me some feedback on my book. And so now what you're doing is building your list. You can sell it for like $2.99, $5, super cheap. You're getting your book done. Your feet are to the fire, and it's the first draft. So you can definitely use ChatGPT to write each of your chapters every week. You can pull up a mic and record your chapters. And I'm going to share what the chapters can be based on this formula in this book. And so if you're wondering, well, what should I have in each chapter? Don't worry, I'll share that too. But the idea here is a micro payment and your over delivery. Now, in your book, I'm going to cover first I'm going to pause here and I'm going to look at your comments and see if you have any questions at this point. And then I'm going to talk about what to include in the bonus, what to include in your book, and what to include in your bonuses. Okay. So let's see. I created some automations using your recommendations. Oh, awesome. Way to go. Yeah, I can help you with that if you need some help. Are you stating that to Amazon is? Are you stating to Amazon that is created with AI or not published? Okay. Sky is asking, am I telling Amazon that is my book created with AI? So with this formula, the book is not on Amazon, for one. I just want to clarify that part. It's work in progress. So it's either a Google document that you can share, or you can create an audio book on Hero. You can do either one or both. I mean, one thing that you could do is sell the audiobook like I am for $5 and then offer as an additional payment a copy of the ebook for 12 more bucks, something like that. So then they get the Google document too. Or if you're just giving them the Google document, offer the audio version for 12 more dollars, like that, something like that. Okay. You can't do those sort of bumps. Those are called bumps. You can't do that with the Hero sales page, but you could do it with your own web page builder and then add them automatically into Hero. But with Amazon, yeah, I think going forward, you do have to state that AI is the co-author for your book. And Kelly's got a good point. You can create a bump with an automation. That is a really cool way to do that. And how you do that in Hero, let me share real quick how you can do that. There's a few ways. Basically, you just need a way for them to pay you. So you can create the product in Stripe. Stripe allows you to create what's called payment links for the product. And then you set up an automation. So once they get your book, they get a message, they get an email, they get an in-app message that says, hey, you want the ebook, you can buy it here. Just click this link. And if they're on their phone with payment links, oh, I see why it was echoing. It was going through my phone. If you're on your phone or if they open payment links on their phone, it'll allow for one-click purchase with Apple Payment or Google Payment. So it's like really key with this like Amazon type of one-click payment. Correct. So these books that are published on Hero, so if they're on Hero, they're different than being on Audible. So you don't have to state that it's made with AI, for one. You understand everybody who purchased your book, you know how much they listen to, you know what they're listening to, how they're listening to it. Yeah. And Amazon's going to require that you state that you co-authored with AI. My book is definitely AI written. So very good points. Okay. So to recap real quick, you can sell your book before it's done, have a sample here, and you can keep adding on to your episodes each week. You can sell the audio version through Hero and then offer the PDF or the ebook version as an extra payment. But I would also, when you're selling this, include things like a free training on the book, a free members group, certain bundle it in, a workbook, extra things, recordings of your Q&As, recordings of you coaching other people on the system. So now what I'm going to share is what you put in the book. And I just want to make sure I have the slide ready. Yes, I do. Okay, so let me go over into Facebook land. There it is. Keynote. There we go. And then over here in Zoom, let me share my screen. Not that one, this one. Okay. So this isn't like anything else. It's not like a webinar or anything like any of those little formats. This is specifically for books. And I'm sure Kelly, as a book coach, will have her own version. But with this one, this is what I came up with, having reverse engineered books like The 5-Hour Work Week and other bestsellers. And really what this is based on is setting yourself up as an authority in your niche. Okay, so that's what this formula is about. So it's based on reverse engineering other books. It's also based on the perfect webinar, on speaking from stage, and other things like that. This is how I developed this formula. And this is the formula that I use to write all my books. So I don't have to guess what's my next chapter. What do I put into each chapter? I just follow this formula and it works. So, and the other thing about this formula is if you're somebody like a book coach, like you have this high ticket offer at the end, you're basically walking people through all the questions that they'll have before purchasing a $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 service from you. Okay, so you're setting them up to answer all their questions and they understand exactly what you do. So let me go into this formula. And then what I'm going to share is the course, the free course that you give to them with the book. Okay, so the first thing you need is a killer intro. I'm going to pause right here. All of these sections, I'm currently working on really good new ChatGPT prompts to help you flush all this out. Starting with who is your avatar. So there's work you do beforehand, understanding all their problems, and then figuring out what to write about that. But that's an, oh, by the way, I'm recreating all of them because anyway, found some really good stuff. So anyway, killer intro. One of the things you want to do with the killer intro is hint towards a big payoff that they're going to get by listening to the entirety of your book. So it might be learn how to lose 10 pounds without getting off a sofa, or make extra money without doing all this extra work, find the love of your life, have more energy, pick up a new skill, whatever it is, master your Facebook ads, whatever it is, you want to hint towards that. And the killer intro will debunk like all their doubts, why this will work for them, all these things right away in the intro. So ChatGPT can help you come up with those things. Then once you hook them and everything in the killer intro, the next thing you need to share is your backstory, who you are and why you're writing this book. And your backstory is really their backstory, your listener's backstory. It's so that they know that you understand them. You walked in their shoes. You had the same problems they had. And so when you're writing your backstory, you want to kind of start it at the point where your listener is already at. My backstory starts with trying all these different marketing techniques just to get my word out. I was like stressed, all this stuff. And then suddenly a woman wanted to hire me because she heard some like an audio program I put together. So that's where my backstory is. And the cool thing is with your backstory is it's your life before you discovered your unique way of doing things, how you discovered it, and then your life after. Okay. So that's really what your backstory is about. In my audiobook, I go deep into like really driving points home and things like that. I'm not going to do that on this talk. Maybe I'll share that with you in another one, but there's ways to really connect with your reader, your listener, so they they really think of you as the person, the go-to person. The next part is the problem that you're solving. So a lot of times people will write about the problem as, let me see how I can phrase this. I had a client who helped people with their marriages, and she had a unique way of helping people with their marriage. So when she got to the problem section of her book, she started to focus on the problem of a broken marriage, of fighting. And I had to get her to pivot out of that because that's not the problem we're solving here. The problem is that there's all these other solutions that they've been wasting their time on, and they don't work. I mean, the problem is also that broken marriages hurt the kids, the finances, blah, blah, blah. That's a given. People know that. But the real problem, deep, 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 is, man, I tried so many things. My husband won't go to counseling with me. Or every time we go to counseling, it just ends up in a fight back home. I mean, those are the problems that you want to get into. If you go deep, like 3-4 levels on the problem, what they tried before, why is that a problem? Why does that hurt? What happens to that? So when you're talking about the problem, it's another chance to really connect with that user or the listener and get them to realize that you understand them, you get them. Yeah, it's their backstory. Yeah, I know. People really, it's like, that's a big revelation. And so the problem is therapy is expensive. Therapists never really help out. They're like, those are the problems. Nobody helps us learn how to be a husband or a wife. That's not like part of schooling. Those are the problems. So that's what you want to address in the problem chapter. And then you come up with your unique solution. I'm going to pause here. How many of you guys have a unique solution? And by this, I mean, you have like a 3, maybe 5-step process to help people go from a miserable existence or not knowing how to deal with something to getting a result. So my 5-step process is to use ChatGPT to write your book, publish it, and then make some money from it. Okay, so Jenna does. And if you don't, I'm actually going to get some prompts together to help you come up with, a unique signature solution. But come up with a 5-step, 3-step solution. Okay, Sky does it. So let me explain why this is important. And I love this analogy. So my son, he says, I want to make YouTube videos and make some money from them. I'm going to sell it to businesses. They're going to hire me to make YouTube videos. And I was like, you ain't going to make money. And he goes, why? Well, because what's the first question that's going to come out of somebody's mouth when you say, hey, I'll make YouTube videos for you? How much? How much do you cost? And when they ask that, if that's the first question, then you're just on a race to the bottom for prices and you're just discounting. And that's the only thing. But if he said, hey, I'm going to bring you 100 new customers a day with my unique YouTube foot traffic formula, then the question is, well, what's the YouTube foot traffic formula? And they get into a conversation. He can talk about how he is different than the rest. So yeah, you come up with like a no more than 7 steps, ideally 3 to 5. And then give your little formula a cute little name, like the YouTube foot traffic formula, prompt, publish, profit, put a little TM next to it. So that's how you can come up with a unique solution. So when you go into step 5 or chapter 5, 5, 6, 7, those different chapters are each of the steps that you have. Step 1 might be, we're going to do a personal assessment. Step 2 is we're going to come up with a plan for you. Step 3 is we're going to check in with you weekly to see how you're going and adjust. Okay. But each one of those steps, I would give it a unique name. Steve has a great one. He's got a acronym for his, Thrive. Before ChatGPT, I would struggle with like naming steps and all of that. Now with ChatGPT, it's so much easier. So there's no excuse to not have a signature system with 3 to 5 steps. If you're like, I can't do it in 3 to 5 steps, like I got 20 at least. Well, then you have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and break up phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 into steps and get the people through the different phases. You just keep it super simple. It's because we're all so stinking busy. Our brains can't comprehend all that stuff. Okay. Now, here's the secret with each of those steps is you kind of use the exact same formula. Your backstory of life before you discovered the step, how you discovered the step, and then life after that step. So you have to kind of sell them on each one of those steps and why it's valuable. And then the next chapter is to future pace them. Paint that picture in their mind about what life is going to be like. And you're future pacing them throughout, right? When you share the solution, you're future pacing them what life is like with that, like once they have that solution. And you can do this with testimonials and different stories. Same with the chapter 6 or the next phase 6. And then the conclusion, it's the conclusion you want them to come to. Hey, you got to hire me. You got to use my system. If you're trying to repair your marriage with therapists, you're going to never get there. Like, you might as well just call your lawyer. You're like, whatever. That's terrible, but that's horrible. I can't believe I said that. All right. Anyway. And then the final chapter is what's next. And my what's next is like a few pages long. And there's maybe 3 or 4 things. Call me. Let's jump on a call. 2 is join a course. Like if you don't want to work with me, then I have a course you can do. Or if you don't want to do the course, have me speak at your event. If there's something else, just email me. That's basically the structure of my book. Okay. And when you get Prompt, Publish, Profit, you get all of this. You get the prompts, you get trainings, everything that go with this. So what I just covered in this 10 minutes is not enough information. You do need to get a lot more. So what I like to talk about is it's like your listeners are like that little girl on the screen. And they have this path where they want to get somewhere. They want to get to the end of their journey, whether it's find the love of their life, fix their marriage, get better health, whatever it is, fix their Facebook ads, whatever it is. They have this journey, but they have these issues and problems that are in their way. And they're so big, they just can't move them. They can't seem to budge up. And through the magic of your book, you're like lifting up those boulders and moving them out of their path so they can see clearly, I can do this. This makes sense. I can do this. So really to know what those boulders are, usually it's things like I tried in the past and failed. I don't have enough time or money. Loved ones don't. It's too complicated. I'm not smart enough, all these things. So you really need to know what is it that's stopping them from taking action, because you want to help them change how they see themselves, their identity. Okay. And that was a big dive into what the book is. So then it comes into what should your bonuses be with the book, with this free book that's going to help grow your list, because you're going to grow your list. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Going to here. Okay. You're going to grow your list. So when you sell your book on Amazon, when you actually publish it, you're going to have a lot of buyers because you have this list of people that are like, hey, I helped write this book. And then you're going to grow your profits and you're going to get people hopefully to come into your programs. So as you're creating each chapter, I would have a CTA that says, if you want to, get to the front of the line and jumpstart all of this, if you're ready now, here's a link to my calendar. And I would be putting that out there over and over and over and over again. Okay. And so how many of you guys are going to try this, by the way? Anybody? Awesome. Good. I'm glad, because it's so stinking easy. It is so easy. Basically, all you're going to say is, who wants my book? We're writing it together. This is the coolest way. Like, awesome. Yeah, good. Because they're helping you write it. Like, they have ownership in that book. Just let them know every week I'm going to get you a chapter and just over deliver. They are going to be so grateful, so thankful. And when you launch that book, then you turn back to them and say, thank you for helping me write this. Do you want to be part of my launch army, my launch team? Will you help me do that? And you wouldn't believe how many people will be like, yeah, I'll go and round up some troops. So let's get into the bonuses. The bonuses, and this is kind of how you can make your book a bestseller. And I should have have Kelly be a guest on this, because she probably knows so many tactics, but this is what I did. She's like, stop talking about me. Here's what I did. I wrote Prompt, Publish, Profit. And then I created the audiobook first, sold that for like $5 with a workbook and all my prompts. I just gave them everything. Here's everything I did to write this book. And then when I launched the physical book on Amazon, I put the Kindle version to 99 cents, the lowest you can have it. And I told everybody who got my audiobook, I said, if you go out and get that Kindle version right now, I'm going to invite you into a free class where I'm going to go through the whole book with you. I'm going to teach you everything about the physical book. Sorry. Oh, that's all right. Oh, you bought the ebook. Yeah, that's okay. Sky, you got it. But yeah, if you got the ebook, the Kindle version, then I was going to invite you into a class where I would walk you through every section of that book. So that's what you can do. Just take your book that you wrote, and anybody who then buys your physical, they're going to get free access to a class. Now you can if they didn't want to buy the book, it's $500 to get into this class, $2,000, whatever it is. But if you get my book, you leave a review and you send me a screenshot of it, I'm going to add you into the class for free. Now, it takes a little bit of manual work because you have to like add them in, all that. There's not an easy way that I know of how to automate that. But you do that for one day, have everybody buy on the same day, and that's how you get your book to number one. So when it comes to your bonuses, you can create your first draft of this course, walking them through the process. You can create a perfect webinar type thing that's broken down into 5 videos or 3 videos. Just basically saying, hey, do you want to get into my program as a free bonus course? And all it, like, you could give them, you could do what I'm doing today. Do a live, just pop up Zoom call, record it, put it in your members area and say, here I am going through it with some people. And I'm going to give you free access to this. It's not available anywhere else. So point is, don't make it complicated. When you're thinking about your bonuses, don't go all out with fancy slides or anything like that. Just keep it simple. Just break up the chunks of your book into digestible pieces that people can watch in little bits. So then you're helping people who like to read, because you're offering the ebook version, the PDF version, or the Google document version. You're helping people who like to learn by listening, by offering the audio version. And then you have the video version for the people who like to see. And boom, 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 you got all these assets. Yeah, bite size. That's chewable and doable. I love it. Can't this system work for a book like mostly poetry? That's a good question. I think you posted that in the Facebook group. So I think so. It depends on who your audience is, because really, with the solution that I'm offering here, basically you're trying to help them solve a problem. But yeah, I like that idea. Kelly said you could get people to submit their poems. That's a cool thing to do too. And you could do that with a book. Like, if you didn't want to use my formula to create a book, you can interview people and have that interview, each person write a chapter, and it's all themed after the same thing. How did you overcome a hard problem in your life by practicing gratitude? And then have each person. I think I had a client, she was talking about each person was adopted, and they ended up being quite successful, and she was adopted herself. So you don't have to write the book, but then you're relying on other people and timelines with them, which can be a little tricky. What you could do is set up interviews. So you interview them and make sure you have an interview a week. So there's ways to do that. Yeah, there you go. She interviewed everyone. So there's a lot of ways. And the idea is just to get these offers out and see if anybody wants it, right? Without creating the complicated system, without building out so many things. So, other people's content. Yes, I love it. hmm And you um if you feel like sitting down with that formula is still a little bit daunting, you can have somebody interview you for your book. Tell me about your backstory. How did you discover this? And then you just like tell that like you record it and talk to that person like a friend. And if it's ends up being like an hour long chunk, you can break it down. So then you have 3 weeks worth. Very cool. So yes, that's true. That's how it's the one of Gene said it's one of the secrets behind Jay Abraham's success. Yep. He would be interviewed. Brene Brown actually did that too. She'd get a whole bunch of people together in a cabin for the weekend, and she would just have them ask her questions, and then they'd uh, record it, transcribe it, and then she'd rewrite it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys are so smart. I love smart people. So, um, oh, that's cool. Yeah, Jane says we would used to be on those calls while he was driving the golf course and he'd answer questions. So, um, so much and the other thing I think I hope you're grasping is that you have a lot of content that people want already. You're already good enough. You're already awesome enough. You're already like worthy of having people throw their dollars at you for all the knowledge in your head. Very true. Yes. And you can also, I mean, there's so many, like what I shared with you is vanilla. You could take your book in that formula, one chapter be your backstory, and then the next chapter after that just be somebody you worked with and interview them and have it be their backstory, right? And you could just another little tip that I did not know until after I published my book. But if you take your book and you take, let's say, each step and you call that a separate book, but it's all in one book and you sell it as a 3-in-1 book, you can charge a higher price. It's still one book, but on Amazon, it's just titled 3-in-1. You're not shipping them 3 separate books. It's one book, but each step you create it into a separate book. And yeah, and and you can, instead of charging like $9.99, you can charge $27.99 because it's like a box set, but they're not getting 3 separate books. It's a 3-in-1 stuck together. And if you go on Amazon and just do 3-in-1 book, you'll get some ideas on how people did that. So I didn't know about that. If I would have known about that, I would have planned to have Prompt be a book, Publish be a book, and Profit be books instead of chapters. That would have been so good because then I could have like really expanded a lot more. But next time, next book. Yep. Yes. I knew there was like she said that's how the zombie series blew up. They did. I just sold 1 audiobook using Carla's method. Oh, yay. Way to go. That's awesome. See? It's so like 10 minutes later, she's making money. There you go. I just love it. I love it. I think there's so many marketers out there that just sell this complex crap, and I get so tired of it. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that complicated. So I don't know if anybody, oh, they've got two people still on Facebook. So hopefully the echo stopped. Is there any questions? We overran by about 15 minutes. So um any questions, comments? This has been really good. I love this. So awesome. One little request I have is when you launch this, when you do this, share it in our Facebook group. Okay, let people know because we're there to give you moral support, help you promote all those things. So thank you, Ava, for joining us. I'm glad you were able to make it. Any questions, anybody about anything at all? No? Yay. Do you have a step-by-step series of tutorials for Hero FM, start to finish? Yes, Jean. I recorded one and the recording didn't happen. And then in the Facebook group, it didn't record correctly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you one. Step. We do have hero.fm/help center. And do I see Peter on the call? Peter, so good to see you. Oh my gosh, down in Austin. Oh, buddy, or where are you? There he goes. Hi, bud. Oh my gosh, it's been for ages. Good to see you. Should like expand this. Oh, we got a whole bunch of other people. Michael's on the call. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. What I'll do, everybody, because we updated the system so much, we have new features, all sorts of good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and make start to finish, setting up your account, setting everything up, and break it all down, put it in step-by-step tutorials. They're just going to be on the hero.fm website, step 1, step 2, step 3, no fluff. Sometimes I can go on tangents about why something you should do something some way, but thank you, Steve, for coming. But I'll get that done. I'll get that done, and I will try to do it this week. I fly out on Friday, so I'm presenting. I'm the keynote at a mastermind down in Florida. And get this, on Sunday, we're going to the Miami Dolphins game, box office seats. I'm so excited. They're playing the Jets. So super excited. But that means Tuesday, we won't have our Tuesday at 2. Here's the link to 31. Oh, great. Thank you. Kelly just dropped a link. 31 unique ways to monetize your book. So she's got some cool ways. I've already created about 40 episodes, need to publish. Do I need to publish a whole book? No. So Sandra, this is cool. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you got a half done product, start selling it now. If you don't have it like even started, sell it now. Just create that welcome. Thank you for getting this episode. You're going to get the first one next week, but just start selling it now. There's a couple of reasons is one, you're going to make money. And number two, it's going to put your feet to the fire. You're going to have to get it done. Get it done. And really, that's what we need to do. And I think when people purchase, when they give their actual dollars to you in exchange, then it validates that you're onto the right path. Because we tend to get in our own head that we're not good enough. We know, I mean, how many of you guys have done that? Like right before you're going to hit and send something out, you're like, I need to change this. Procrastination and perfectionism. And then we, you know how we kill those both? Shiny objects. We're like, screw it. We don't need to, let's just do something new. And so if somebody gave you money to have that finished book or product or interviews or whatever, that makes you do it. And here's another tip. How many of you guys really want to make money with this? If you do, I'll give you this extra tip and you can start making money right now. Okay. All right. Here's what you do. Make a post on Facebook that says, I just recorded an audiobook or a private podcast or whatever you want to call it. That big result gives you this big result. Lets you discover 30, 40 different ways. What was your thing, Kelly? I'm going to use her for an example. 31 ways to make money from your book. I just published audio and 31 ways in, put a time frame in there. Okay, that's very important. I'm going to use a different way, a different method. I just published a audiobook that explains how to make 20,000 a year, 20,000 additional cash in 1 year. So big result is 20,000, time frame 1 year. And this is really important, without things that they hate, without building funnels, without having a list, or without running Facebook ads. Okay, so just announce, it's like one of those big text posts. You don't have to get complicated with it. And the formula is, I just published how to get a big result in this sort of time frame without things that they hate doing. How to find the love of your life in 1 month without dating sites, asking introductions from cousins, family members, or dating your old high school sweetheart. I don't know. Who wants a copy? Then say, who wants a copy, right? If you post that on Facebook, you're putting your feet to the fire. You're going to find out who wants it. And then when people comment below there saying, I do, can I have one? Yeah. Then you message them in the DMs. Don't put the link to your book there, but put it in the DMs. In the direct message them. I should use full words. Anybody going to do that? Yeah, an engagement post. Yes. Okay, good. And then if you're doing it, here's the thing. Let's up the engagement on that post. Jean, if you would share, make it public, share it in the Facebook group. And then we all go out and love on it. And what that does is increase the algorithm. So Facebook will show it to more people. Yeah, Sky. Sky is asking, can I do this in other people's Facebook groups? Depends on the group. If they ask for no promotion, that's kind of, I'd word it a little differently. Like I would say, hey, I really want to get, actually what I would do if it's somebody else's group, I would reach out to the owner of the group, because you don't want to seem like you're going over their heads. Reach out to the group owner and say, this is a fantastic group. I've gotten so much out of it. I'd like to give back to the members of this group. Is it possible to just give them a gift? It's not marketing. I'm not selling anything. I just have, and then let them know what it is and see what they say. The other things that you guys can do to get the Facebook post is one thing, but getting on people's podcasts and just letting people know, hey, I've already got this book out there, this audiobook, it's in being created. You're going to help me create it, and start promoting it on other people's shows. Getting in front of other people's audiences as much as possible. That will help you get buyers. And I'll tell you, when you run a Facebook group, like I do, we're constantly looking for content that'll help the members of that group. So if, for example, somebody came up to me and said, hey, Carla, I have a way that your audience will be able to get 1,000 new viewers on their sales pages in one day with one little social media trick. Can I share it in the group? I'd be like, yeah. When can we go live? Right. So people who run these communities are always looking for content. They're always looking for it and they don't want to create it all. So uh Jean has a good message for you, Sky. If I were to write a book on X, would you be interested? Yep. Tough part is having to get them to approve your initial post, but you can also comment on other people's posts that you have a solution to. Oh, yes, Jean, that's a good one. Yeah, you can just comment on other people's. Sometimes what I shared sometimes does work, but sometimes it takes a while for the Facebook admins. Yep. Yeah, that's another really cool way is to just comment on other people's posts. But one way I don't like is for you to just suddenly DM somebody that you're friends with that you've never talked to, that you never messaged before in your life, and just say, hey, what do you do? And start the conversation that way. I think we've all figured out that that's not the way to do it. So this is really, really good, you guys. This is really, really good. Yeah. Yeah, a hand raiser post. It's like a raise your hand. And like if you really want to get technical, there's ways to trip up the algorithm. When somebody on Facebook likes one of your posts, then the next one that you do will show up for them automatically. So the idea is first you create a post to get them to like it, and then when you do the hand raiser post, they see it. That one where who wants a book? If I were to do a book about this, or I've already done this, yeah, because you're on their radar and the algorithm is saying, show her stuff to this person. So awesome. Okay, we're a half hour over, you guys. This has been really, really good. Thank you so much for all your input. I love it. Yeah, really, really good. Next Tuesday, again, no Tuesday at 2, but every Tuesday I plan on doing this. And if you have any ideas, questions, anything at all, then just let me know and I'll speak on it. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody to speak on it. Hey, Frederick, I see your face. Good to see you again. Hope you're well. So, all right, guys, have a great day and I will speak with you real soon.